Hello and welcome back to Euro Football Daily, and today we have a real treat for you. Top 10 deadly strike partnerships. Little and large, they blitz their league and form the duo their teams simply couldn't live without. Let's go. 10. Alex Del Piero and David Trezeguet. An Italian and Frenchman playing for an old lady sounds like the start of a very bad joke, but no opposition defenders found anything about this partnership, which spearheaded Juve's attack for a decade between 2000 and 2010, at all amusing. Del Piero played for the Bianconeri for 19 years between 1993 and 2012 and was the deeper-lying, more technically gifted of the two. He was also a free-kick specialist. Trezeguet, on the other hand, was lightning quick and a deadly finisher. Del Piero, a two-time Serie A Player of the Year, finished as the second highest Italian goalscorer in all competitions with an incredible 346 goals. Trezeguet, nicknamed the Cobra, arrived from Monaco in 2000 and left as Juventus' highest ever foreign goalscorer, scoring a remarkable 171 goals in 245 appearances for the Turin outfit. The legendary duo scored 40 or more between them on two separate occasions and broke the Serie A record in 2007-8, with Del Piero netting 21 goals to the Cobra's 20. The only reason that they aren't higher in the list is their joint trophy accumulation. Though both won the World Cup and Del Piero won a Champions League and Trezeguet a Euros, together they only picked up two Serie A titles, having had two stripped due to the Calciopoli scandal. 9. Kevin Keegan and Keegan Toshack. Liverpool used to be very good. I don't know whether any of their fans have ever told you. And in the 1970s, when their attack was spearheaded by the archetypical big man little man partnership, Keegan Toshack and Kevin Keegan, they were incredibly good. For 6 years, over 532 appearances and 189 goals, they tormented defences throughout England and subsequently Europe. During that period, they picked up 3 league titles, 2 UEFA Cups and 1 European Cup. Their crowning glory was the 76-77 season. Liverpool went unbeaten in the league at home as they pipped Man City to the first division title by 1 point. Then they led Liverpool to their first European Cup triumph, defeating Borussia Mönchengladbach in the final 3-1. Only a defeat to Man United in the FA Cup final denied Liverpool a famous treble. Welshman Toshack left for Swansea in 78 and took the side from the 4th division to the 1st and eventually went into management. The highlight was 3 spells managing Real Sociedad and 2 spells in charge of Real Madrid. As for Kevin Keegan, he left for Hamburg in 77 and scored 32 goals in 90 appearances for the side, twice being named European Footballer of the Year and later captaining and managing the England national side. 8. Ronaldo and Rivaldo. Ronaldo and Rivaldo had stellar careers, scoring 505 domestic goals and picking up 28 domestic trophies. But it's for their performance at the 2002 World Cup that they'll be most remembered. Ronaldo was all pace, power and lethal finishing, whereas Rivaldo had guile and technical quality that could unlock the tightest defence. What made their attack even more terrifying for opposition defenders was that Ronaldinho, entering his peak, was playing in the hole behind them. Brazil breezed through the group stages, beating Turkey 2-1, China 4-0 and Costa Rica 5-2. Ronaldo and Rivaldo were flying, having scored 7 goals between them in the 3 games. Both then subsequently scored in the 2-0 victory over Belgium in the last 16, and Rivaldo bagged another in the quarter-final triumph over England. Ronaldo netted his 6th of the tournament in the semi-final against Turkey. Brazil were due to face Germany in the final and Oliver Kahn. Kahn had kept 5 clean sheets up to that point, but even he couldn't deny Ronaldo a brace that led Brazil to their 5th World Cup triumph. The duo had performed on the greatest stage of all, scoring 13 goals between them. The Seleção were on top of the world once more, and Ronaldo walked away with the Golden Boot, having scored 8 goals. 7. Zlatan Ibrahimovic and Edinson Cavani. At the moment, Edinson Cavani is having to put up with the petulant prima donna that is Neymar, arguing over who should take free kicks and penalties. That must be frustrating for the Uruguayan because last season he led the line at the Paris outfit and scored 35 goals in 36 Ligue 1 appearances. After his arrival from Napoli in 2013, he was forced to play out on the left wing by Laurent Blanc due to the considerable talents and ego of Zlatan Ibrahimovic. However, far from complaining about his lot, Cavani knuckled down and struck up an incredible partnership with the Swede. In the 2015-16 season, the year before Zlatan left for Manchester, they broke the French league record, racking up a ridiculous 57 goals between them, Cavani getting 19 and Ibra 38. Tactically, they dovetailed superbly, Cavani cutting in from the left-hand side when Zlatan dropped deep to link with the midfield. PSG swept all before them domestically, romping to 3 consecutive Ligue 1 titles, 3 League Cups and 3 French Cups too. During their time together, no team got within 8 points of them, and in their last season, PSG finished on 96 points, 31 clear of second place Lyon. 6. Daniel Sturridge and Luis Suárez. During the 2013-14 season, it almost looked like Liverpool were finally going to end their wait for a first top division title since 1990. Suárez won the Golden Boot with 31 goals, only the 6th time 30 goals has been reached in the Premier League this century, and he was ably supported by second place Sturridge, who finished with 22. Their combined 52 goals, an English 38-game record, almost propelled Liverpool to the title, but unfortunately dropped points against Chelsea and Crystal Palace stopped momentum, and they lost out to Man City by 2 points. Liverpool's play that season was at times simply spellbinding, with an attacking triumvirate of Suárez, Sturridge and Sterling backed up by the evergreen Steven Gerrard in midfield. Liverpool scored 101 goals, only the 3rd time that somebody had achieved that feat. They did, however, concede 50, the 2nd worst in the top 8, and this ultimately cost them the title. Unfortunately, Barcelona swooped in and took Suárez to the Camp Nou that summer for €85 million, and the woefully unlucky Sturridge has spent more time on the treatment table than on the pitch since. 5. Emilio Butragueño and Hugo Sanchez. Mexican Hugo Sanchez and Spaniard Emilio Butragueño formed, along with 3 others, the Quinta del Buitre, the name given to 5 homegrown Real Madrid players, the core of the Madrid team that dominated Spanish football during the 80s. Sanchez and Butragueño fired Los Blancos to 5 consecutive La Liga titles and a UEFA Cup between 85 and 90. During those years, Sanchez netted an extraordinary 150 goals with a range of acrobatic and spectacular finishes from all angles. Butragueño weighed in with a comparatively measly 58 during that period, but he laid on countless goals for his partner with his remarkable control and game awareness. In the 89-90 season, Real Madrid scored 107 goals in only 35 matches, with Sanchez contributing 37 of them. By the time Sanchez left in 1992, he'd scored 208 goals in 282 games, and he's 6th on the Real Madrid all-time goal-scoring list. He got 27 or more in 4 consecutive seasons between 86 and 90. As for Butragueño, he left Real 3 years after Sanchez, having scored 123 in 341. Both their places in Real Madrid folklore are more than secure. 4. Thierry Henry and Dennis Bergkamp. Thierry Henry has had an illustrious career that's seen him play alongside some of the all-time greats, Zidane, Ronaldinho and Leo Messi, but the fact that he rates Dennis Bergkamp as the best of them speaks volumes about the depth of the telepathy and talent the duo shared. With Henry and Bergkamp at the helm, Arsenal played some of the best football England has ever seen. Henry with the poacher's instinct, elegance, fearsome skill and pace, and Bergkamp the orchestrator, seeing everything and delivering the perfect passes. There's no doubt that Henry without Bergkamp wouldn't be the same player. Henry won 4 Golden Boots between 2002 and 2006 and scored 214 goals during their time together at Arsenal, many of them laid on by the non-flying Dutchman. Bergkamp in comparison contributed 51 strikes, but their almost perfect harmony led Arsenal to 2 Premier League titles and 3 FA Cups. You don't need to tell me that they're most famous for leading Arsenal to an entirely unbeaten Premier League victory between 2003 and 4. Invincible indeed. 3. Andy Cole and Dwight Yorke. In England, there's an eternal debate about which side was better, United's 1999 treble-winning team or Arsenal's Invincibles. And while Arsenal had the irrepressible talents of Henry and Bergkamp, United had their own, in Dwight Yorke and Andy Cole. During that famous treble-winning season, they started 36 games together and United lost only 1 of them. The pair linked up beautifully, netting 53 goals as they became the first side in English football history to win the treble. They scored 35 in the league alone that season as United pipped Arsenal by a point. And if you ever want to see a true partnership in action, check out Cole and Yorke's now famous goal against Barcelona in the Camp Nou. Though neither will go down as the world's greatest players, their incredible mutual understanding meant that they ended up being far more than the sum of their parts. They led United to 3 straight Premier League titles, an FA Cup, an Intercontinental Cup, and of course that famous last-minute Champions League win during their time with the Red Devils. 2. Ian Rush and Kenny Dalglish. One of the best teammate relationships in football history, let alone striking partnerships, Dalglish and Rush made Liverpool an unstoppable force in the 1980s. Reds fans were initially cautious as Dalglish was replacing fan favourite Kevin Keegan, but when manager Bob Paisley deployed Dalglish as a withdrawn striker behind the younger, faster Rush, the pair proved a revelation. Rush is credited with adding years to the career of Dalglish, and the guile and craft of the great striker undoubtedly raised Rush to greatness. During the period of 1981 and 1984, Liverpool won 3 straight Premier League titles, 3 League Cups and the European Cup. The pair combined for 162 goals during that period, with Rush netting the lion's share with 108. The strength of their partnership is emphasised by Rush's comparative struggles after moving to Juventus. He only managed 7 goals in 29 before returning to Liverpool, showing he might not be the same player without the Scotsman behind him. 1. Alfredo Di Stefano and Ferenc Puskás. Before Cristiano Ronaldo broke the Real Madrid goal-scoring record in October 2015, at number 2 and number 4 on the list were Di Stefano and Puskás. Real Madrid this season will attempt to win a 3rd Champions League in a row, but that pales into insignificance when compared with Los Blancos' side of 1956 to 1960 that won 5 consecutive European Cups. During the Strike Partnership's time together, they got 4 consecutive league titles between 61 and 64, a European Cup in 59 and another one in 1960 when they beat Eintracht Frankfurt 7-3 in the final, with Di Stefano and Puskás scoring all 7 goals. Puskás joined Real at 31, denying Los Blancos fans the opportunity to see him in his prime, but it was one hell of a victory lap. He got 156 in 180 league games and 35 in 39 European Cup appearances. Di Stefano ended his Madrid career with 307 goals in 396 appearances, numbers that now only seem remotely normal relative to the achievements of Messi and Ronaldo. And Di Stefano did it as essentially a box-to-box midfielder. Unbelievable. So those were our top 10 strike partnerships of all time, but who did we miss out? Who would you have included? Henry and Bergkamp should have been number 1, I know. Let us know in the comments below. Now, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to stay right here on Euro Football Daily. Check out Continental Club, Football Mundial, and of course, Stat Wars the Champions. And as ever, guys, like and subscribe.